After Brics, Japan is now dumping US bonds and mitigating the losses it incurred from adverse interest rates bets. The latest data shows Japan has offloaded $63 billion worth of US and European sovereign bonds by March 2024. The US bond sale represents nearly 1/6 of the Central Bank of Japan's portfolio. Japan is following in the footsteps of Brics Alliance, which has been dumping US Treasury bonds for more than a year. Offloading the bonds was the only way for Japan to reduce their losses on the interest rates cut bets. So you see, Japan is only acting smarter, taking a step ahead for them to offload these bonds in order for them to reduce their losses on the interest rate cut bets. The Bank of Japan anticipated reporting a net loss of 1.5 trillion yen, equivalent to nearly 9.49 billion for the current fiscal year. The previous net loss estimate was placed at 500 billion yen, but the losses have now tripled in value. So previously, their losses, what they lost in the past, have even now tripled. That is why you see that Japan is now offloading this bond in order to reduce their losses when it comes to interest rate cuts. Japan is under tremendous pressure as the yen has fallen to a 34-year low against the US dollar. Therefore, Japan is replicating Brics by dumping US and European sovereign bonds in the market. Kazuto Kuoku, CEO of Japan's bank, spoke about the US bond sale to a local news outlet. He confirmed that the bank will reduce interest rate risk bets to safeguard its interest as the country is in financial turmoil. The amount will now be diversified into corporate assets and not in the US or European sovereign bonds. The development is similar to that of Brics member China, which has dumped nearly $73 billion in US bonds. We will diversify into assets that take on corporate and individual credit risk, said Oku to Bloomberg. Japan misjudged how long interest rates will stay elevated, but a rise in foreign currency funding wiped out returns from US bonds, but when the yields were low. So you see, now Japan has equally taken a step further. This was what China did a year ago by offloading the US bonds, because they were just incurring a whole lot of losses. And it's only normal that at one point they have to review everything and offload this bond. It will not surprise me, because the next thing now will be that Japan, if care is not taken, might soon table an application, which it will not be that easy. Yes, for them to join the Brics, because the dollarization agenda of the Brics and their expansion agenda is leading many developing countries and even developed countries to join the Brics, because people and countries are tired of one country's currency dominating the world, and people want to build back hope in their local currencies. People want their people to believe in their currency. That way their economies will be stable. That way it will encourage a whole lot of business expansion. That way it will encourage a whole lot of entrepreneurs to go into business. It will encourage a whole lot of growth in each of these countries. And that is why you see that most of these countries are dancing to the Brics. And that is to show you that most of these countries have been nurturing these ideas for a while, but there is a fight they cannot fight alone on their own. And they need a collective effort, which now the Brics is giving them. Yes, and as long as Brics continues on this path, you will see that more and more countries will be tendering their application to join. And the more power force they have, the more the Brics, if they continue on this path, will be able to win this war and stabilize these native economies and build back hopes in these developing countries' local currencies.